Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
The show that is saving its right hand for the Lakers. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcasts from. On today's show, we discuss sitting next to a dead person on a flight, getting your stolen jewelry back, and the spectacle of fighting with teenagers. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who has a hard time sleeping on clean sheets. It's Dick. I've seen people kill cows before. Schisler.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things being killed.
Brutal. And it's interesting. I've been here for probably a half hour before we started recording, and I am so completely unprepared. I realized I had no headphones on.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, ready to go? I'm like, yeah, look down, no headphones. Sunglasses still in my shirt. My cord was all wrapped around. This is not off to a good start, Dick. I'm concerned.
I will tell
I'm
you,
concerned.
Through all the host experience I've had
Yes.
dealing with hosts, majority of them don't listen to when I go, hey, are you ready? They're like, yeah. And then I start everything, and they're like, wait, what are we doing? And I'm like, you literally just said, yes, you're ready.
Then they start clearing their throat.
Oh, yeah.
Adjusting their
the
seat.
funniest. I'm like, all right, why do I even speak?
But not me. I'm always perpetually prepared.
I guess.
That's hard to say. Well, Dick, are you ready for the time change? That's right. We are springing forward.
Has it already happened?
This Sunday. No, Dick. You're so prepared. You already thought it
dude.
happened.
Oh, so this is how bad it is with my time this week.
Uh-huh.
You know how Facebook does the whole in this time last year, and I got a post for my grandmother's birthday. And I'm very close with my grandmother, and I'm like, wait, there's no way I missed her birthday. What the heck? And I had to text my parents. I'm like, y'all, I feel like I'm in crazy world. It was Muzzy's birthday this week. And my dad goes, Dick, her birthday was a month ago, and you called her. And I was like, okay, good. As long as I call her.
Yeah, I believe you took her to lunch or something.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this.
As long as I talked to her. No, that was a week later, but
you know what this reminds me of?
It's just funny to me. I'm like, I don't remember wishing her happy birthday, but it was like...
This is like the GPS telling you to drive into a lake. You can clearly see the lake. You're like, nope. GPS says to go straight. This is the same thing. I don't know.
It
tells me her birthday's this week, or I don't know. So I guess it has to be true.
Yeah. I'm trying to be better on the calendar, especially my mom's birthday was this week.
Happy birthday, Mom.
And I forgot.
Uh-oh.
So
you didn't open Facebook, I guess.
Well, no, it's we know what throws me off is when people have birthday parties before or after the actual birthday.
Well, sometimes the actual day is inconvenient. Say Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? People like to get their party on Friday.
And what's even sadder is I know her birthday because it's a code for something I have.
Oh.
Not for my banking or anything like that, but it's one of those.
To unlock your phone.
It's like my safe or something like that.
Right.
But
keep your stash.
Yeah. And so it's no valuables.
Would you want to celebrate, if you're not going to celebrate your birthday on the actual day, would you rather celebrate before or after? Like a few days before or after? I mean, ideally you want to celebrate on the day because that's when you can really get it crunked up.
Well, I wish it was one of those birthdays where it's kind of like a holiday where it's always going to fall on a Monday.
They should standardize birthdays. Is that what you're saying? That's not how it works.
That's how. Well, you asked would I like to do it before or after?
It's not Thanksgiving.
I'm like, I'd rather just do it on the 24th of this month every month, on this day, not actual the 24th, but the third Thursday or something like that. That would be great.
It's Dick Day, third Thursday of the month.
But yeah,
that's funny.
I
think I would rather celebrate before. Because then I can have a quiet reflection afterwards by myself when it's my actual birthday.
Really?
No, I don't know, man.
I don't care
really
about
care.
my birthday.
I don't really care either.
I never cared about my birthday.
I did when I was little. Now I just dread them. But Yeah, birthdays were great when you were a little kid.
Yeah. Well, someone actually, I had a nice thing this birthday, this year's. A friend reached out and was like, "Hey, are you celebrating your birthday?" And I'm like, "I guess I don't really have a choice."
Exactly.
And
well, you cannot celebrate it, but you have to have one.
Yeah,
that's
she
the non-choice.
was like, "Oh, I was thinking of you and your birthday, and the Black Keys are playing. You want to go see them?" And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like,
look at you.
And I was like, I don't even think it's still my birthday. I'm like, I just wanted to go hang out with you guys. So that's cool with me.
Your birthday's in May, isn't it?
It's in June.
June. I'm close.
Yeah,
close enough. I get some.
But that's a nice because usually
points.
being the youngest of a large family and having my birthday so close. I know we talked about this before. My birthday is very close to like 5 other family members.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we celebrate our birthdays, there's one big cake with everyone's name on it. So I never had like a solo birthday stuff.
So cheap.
But now, especially as you get older, I'm single. I have no like decent friends besides that one girl who called me to celebrate my birthday. What a night! Shout out to you, Katie. And
you talking about last year?
I'm talking about this year. No one cares.
You said your birthday's in June.
Yeah,
it's March.
She thought about me before and goes, "Hey, let's celebrate your birthday. Let's do this." And I go, "Okay."
Okay, that's really early.
Yeah. Well,
I guess if it's a concert, you could probably
she
got to
was
prepare
thinking
for that.
about me, and that's,
you got to prepare
that's
for
the
that
important
early.
part.
Yeah.
But then again, I have no room to complain because I don't remember anyone's birthday, especially my mom's. And even though it's a code, that's why I like it's a code. And I'm like, I don't know when she's born. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's when she's born. But who cares anymore? Like,
I've come to this point in my life where I think you need 3 different groups of friends.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Now, you have to have at least one person in each group. So at a minimum, you must have...
And they don't mingle.
3 friends. No, they do not mingle. They do not know each other. And this is the way I look at it. You have to have one group of people who are doing better than you, right? These are people that are successful.
That's near impossible.
So, and so basically this is the group of friends or friend that you look up to. Maybe you even get advice. You think, man, if I had my crap together, that could be me. So that's sort of your inspiration.
I don't
friend.
really have any inspiration for my friends like that.
This is what I'm saying. You need to have one. So there's one. The other one is somebody in your same group, your next group friend, somebody you can relate to. Okay. They're on the same path in life, maybe the same age, maybe the same income level. This is a person you can confide in, you can relate to, right? Yeah. You guys are struggling in the same way.
You actually have experiences together.
You have experiences together.
Yeah.
That might be your best friend.
Yeah.
And then you have to have that third category of friend. And this is the guy you're doing way better than. And this is the guy. This is the guy that makes you feel good about yourself and your current situation.
I'm really glad we're having this conversation.
And it also is the guy that when you get in trouble, your wife goes, "Well, at least you're not Donnie." And you're like, see, I could be Donnie, but I'm not.
It's funny you say there's
So you got to have 3 friends.
2 things
man.
I want to tell you. So my best friend and I were talking, and I was telling him, I'm making plans to go see him in a couple weeks, and I was asking the important questions because he doesn't cook.
Do you know what category he falls into?
Well, he's been my best friend since 7th grade. So,
well, I will
ride or die.
I will let you decide what category group you fall in. This is what
I want to tell you. This is what I was going to ask you. So this is what he says to me. He's like, "Hey, man, that's really like." He goes like, he was talking about me coming to visit, and I go, "Well, no, I have a system." I go because we always plan on a trip every year or seeing each other every year. But if it's 6 months out, I want to see you before that because that's too long.
Systematic, yeah.
So that's why I'm going up there. And he's like, I really appreciate you always thinking about like spending time with us and like my wife and like you make an effort. And I almost wanted a backhand comment on him. I'm like, so what does that say about you? Like I don't know if you're telling me that because you feel sorry for me. Or are you telling me that because you appreciate it? Or you're telling me that you don't see me in the same way I see you. And I was like, this doesn't sound good. No, I know you're trying to be nice.
I think you're in group 3 for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, I'm that guy.
He's the one, after you leave, his wife goes, man, I'm so glad you're not like Dick.
Yeah.
But you're filling a very important role for him. Neither one is probably more important than the other. You have to have 3.
Yeah, it's one of those. When he told me that, I was like, that's really, I know what you're trying to say, but it sounds like, what about you? What are you doing for this friendship, brother? It's really funny.
That's greatness.
To me.
That's greatness. Well, man,
But then again, they don't live here. They live in some liberal town. Liberals don't think about.
Yeah.
They're
libs, bunch of libs.
Yeah.
Huh?
All they think about is themselves anyway.
That blue dot in the red state.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. But no.
Well, I traveled last week. I went to Illinois. It was very, very cold. But I experienced this thing, and I made a mental note of it because I wanted to talk about it here on the Audience of One show. In the hotel, this was just like a regular old Best Western or whatever. Marriott. It was Marriott. They had a water jug, right? Like in a 5-gallon glass jug. You go over there and complimentary get some water. But it was one of those things where it had like fresh cucumbers and like mint and all sorts of like fruit in the
I've
water.
seen those.
Yeah, right. So I'm expecting this to taste fantastic.
It doesn't.
And I walk over there, get some water, and when I pull it out, guess what? It tastes like regular water. I'm like, what's the whole point of putting all the cucumbers and the blueberries and the mint if it's just going to taste like water? I feel like it should have more flavor.
Well, they
extremely
probably did the wrong ratio.
And had plenty in there.
Oh, maybe it hasn't been setting for that long.
That's true. Maybe it needs to fester a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like that water needed to taste more like fruit. I was very excited to taste it. And it was very boring.
Your day.
Well, I mean, because you got to figure, that's someone's job to cut all that stuff up, put that in there every dang day. If it's not going to do anything, just leave it out. Just leave it out, man.
I don't know.
When I was in the airport, this is funny, man. Maybe this is just me. I titled this section Andrew's Rants and Observations. I'm walking through Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I decide, I get to a point in the airport where there's a moving sidewalk. And I decide I'm going to get on the moving sidewalk, but I'm not going to also walk at the same time because I wanted to look at my flight information one more time, and I didn't want to walk while I was doing it. So I get on and I stop. I pull my phone out. I wanted to make sure I'm going to the right gate, going in the right direction. And I notice right over to my left is a guy that had been walking right next to me, but he decided to not take the walking sidewalk. And he's walking and I'm not, and we're moving at the same pace. And it was the most awkward exchange because I look over at him and he looks over at me and we're moving at the same rate, but he's got the motion like he's walking and I'm just standing there and we both quickly look down. I think both of us were very uncomfortable with the situation.
Why?
For whatever. Because it's like I'm walking, he's not, or vice versa. Sorry,
You're
he's
moving.
walking. Yeah, he's moving, but yet we were still moving at the same pace. Like he was looking down at me like, why don't you just walk, dude?
And you
your
should have
legs
told
work,
him. You should have
man.
been like, I want to be fat.
It was this awkward exchange.
Or you can say that's gonna be my new thing is when people ask like, oh, why do you do that? I was like, oh, I used to be fat.
Used to be. Now look at me.
Yeah.
So I quickly put my phone away and started walking.
Yeah, I used to be fat, so now I'm taking a break. I don't know. That's kind of
It was weird. He looked away just as quickly as I looked at him, so it was uncomfortable for both of us. But whatever.
Airports are a weird place. I don't really enjoy them too much.
No,
I
I think they're all kind of the same, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it's just the old mentality is like that. No one wants to be comfortable because they got to keep moving because they're going somewhere. So no one wants. And then what the ironic part about it is like everyone gets there 3 hours early.
Not everyone.
Well, when you're waiting for a flight or like a layover.
You got a
whatever.
layover, sure.
Because I've only flown a few times, but when people always complain like, "Oh, I have 5 hours in Houston. What can I do?" I'm like, that's got to suck because
Yeah, what are you going to do in Houston for
you can't
5
power
hours?
nap.
No, you can, but I can't.
Yeah, after you get some hookers.
Always. There's always
I mean,
time for hookers, man. All right, buddy, you ready to kick off this
No, I
show?
want to ask you how your
yeah.
week. Yeah, you went to Chicago.
I went to Chicago. Yeah.
And it was
that's
there.
It.
It was there.
It was cold, and it was dreary, and it was windy.
That's
it.
fun.
Yeah, no, it was not fun. I saw a frozen pond. How cool was that?
Did you throw anything on it?
No, I was in the car when I drove by it.
That's lame.
Yeah, well, again, that's why I didn't tell you about it.
That's really
because it
lame.
is lame.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything at all. We just did family stuff for birthdays.
Lame.
Yeah, it was.
Lame.
Well, here's a good story for you. This is one thing I love about certain. I've actually met multiple people that have done this. So we go. Of course, when our family gets together, everyone needs help with stuff. So my brother's like, "Oh, hey, I need someone to help me move a bunch of fridges." And I'm like,
A bunch of fridges?
Yeah.
What are you hiding bodies?
Well, I was sitting there going like, and I'm the only one that is capable of doing it.
What scenario do you need a bunch of
Well,
fridges
this
for?
is where it gets interesting. I was like,
The
okay,
hell?
where are we going? He's like, oh, it's my friend Mark's. I know Mark. He's down the street from our brother. So like, where
Mark's the refrigerator guy.
Well, anyway, this guy Mark, he bought the house next door.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
And I was sitting there, and
I'm buying the lot next to me.
but they're renovating the house so they had fridges in it, and my brother has his like deer lease and all this kind of stuff, so he wants to use the fridges for multiple areas.
Okay.
But it was one of those houses that didn't have like concrete flat steps; it was all stone. So imagine moving the stone, right, or moving these fridges. And it was a big fridge. And but my favorite thing was as I was going through the house, I noticed all the doorknobs were missing. And I go, "Hey, Mark, what happened to your doorknobs?" And he goes, "Someone broke into the house and just stole the doorknobs."
Interesting. I bet you they were old glass doorknobs.
Well, they were. He's like, "Yeah, they were. It's an old house."
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what.
But
it
I was like, "Just the doorknobs, though, not like the handles on the cabinets, or
no." Some of those old handles are 30, 40, 50, even hundreds of dollars a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really funny to me,
30, 40.
though.
They're much more than that, especially if they're glass.
Because there's just little things you notice. Because he's like, the whole house was completely empty and being renovated, but it was just the doorknobs were gone, and I was like, "That's kind of weird, right?" He's like, "I don't know. He's like, they didn't take all of them though. They only took."
I mean, they could have put that in the what is it, like the rider in the sale, that the doorknobs don't transfer with the sale of the house, not have to come back and steal it later. Oh,
but
I don't know, man.
But yeah, it's always funny scenarios you run into like that, and then people who buy the house next door. Those are always my favorite people.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's like they're bored.
One lot is not enough for me. I must conquer. It's like you're conquering the place.
Well, I can see
one lot at a time.
I mean,
this
if
entire
I had
neighborhood
money, I
will
would
be
probably
mine.
do that. But I was like, "Are you going to move into this place?" He's like,
That's the friend that's doing better than you. That's
well, yeah. I got a friend.
there you go. One day this could be me.
Well, I wouldn't want to have that though, unless the house next door was totally cool.
No doorknobs though.
So
Lots of fridges.
yeah. Some people are like that though. They have like
Yeah.
5 fridges. I don't really
That's an odd doorknob to fridge ratio. All right, buddy, let's go ahead and kick off this show. This story was brought to me and brought to my attention by Richard Schisler.
Oh yeah, I'm participating.
A married couple said they were forced to sit next to a dead woman's body for 4 hours on a flight from Australia to Qatar.
All right, so I don't know if you read the full.
I read good enough, yeah.
So if people don't have no idea about the story, so this lady apparently was walking in an aisle, passed over, like just fell over, boom, dead.
She had come straight from the restroom.
Yeah, so dead.
And then drops dead in the aisle.
For some reason, the flight attendants were like, "Hey, we're just gonna pick her up and put her on this aisle." And there's a couple.
Uh-huh.
And so they leave her right there. And then the couple's like, "Well, can we move?" And they said no. And I'm thinking, like, what's the logic behind this? Because if they're going to be rule followers, they should have put the lady back in her seat that she bought. You know, in my mind, because you're like, you're having these stewardess people going like, "No, they're going to stay right there. Those are the rules." This is like, you know, but I'm like, all right, well, if we're going to follow it, why don't you put them back over there or have the couple move? But yeah, they were forced to sit by next to the dead body.
It's weird. About 10 hours into their flight, the woman exited the restroom, collapsed, and died in front of them. And I think the story is they had an empty seat in their row. So they're thinking, what fantastic luck. We've got this 14-hour transcontinental flight. We've got extra room here. Little did they know they were going to have a corpse next to them for the last third of the hall. But I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often, right? I've never really heard of this.
Or put the lady in the back.
My thought is, well, yeah, you can't just leave her there. Like, I think that's rule number one. Is you can't just leave her in the aisle because that would disrupt beverage service. You know, the cart can't go through. But the question is, where do you put her? I do believe she was a woman of size. So there may have been an issue with getting a limp body through that narrow aisle, especially if there was another 20 rows to go and she's in the middle row.
Yeah.
I think that was there was the nearest seat is what it was. And they just happened to.
Well, no, it's just funny because imagine being in that position where you're with your significant other and then they put this dead body next to you and you're kind of like, I get they picked her up and just wanted to sit her somewhere, but we still got 10 hours left on this
They should have put her
flight.
in the jump seat next to the bathroom, you know, where the stewardesses sit.
And it's like
She could greet everybody
not
on the
even
way
that.
out.
Like maybe say she was a bigger person. Let those people sit somewhere else.
Yeah, it is really odd, man. I'm sensing a lawsuit, but at the same time, you can't leave her on the floor. You got to do something. If you can't move her, where else are you going to go? I think I would have.
Because there
moved
was
seats.
in the
Because
article.
technically, you're right. Her seat is now open.
Yeah, in the article they said there were open seats on the plane. So like, that blew my mind.
That's weird. So, if you're that guy, you staying there next to the dead woman for the next 4
Well, I don't
hours?
think you had an option. They
Well,
literally say like you can't go anywhere
Okay.
else.
I don't know. See, to me, that's
You know what
where
I
the
would have
lawsuits-
done though?
Yeah.
See, this is me sitting there upset, and when I get upset, I get even. I would have taken her foot and her elbow and put it in the aisle. And so when the cart people come by, they just jam right into her. And then they'll be like, I can't believe you hit a dead body. You know?
So wrong.
Yeah.
So disrespectful of the dead.
Yeah. And it's like, and then the steward lady would be like, oh, gotta move this leg.
It is very weekend at Bernie's,
But I would
though.
keep doing it. I would keep pushing that leg over. Of like, if you're not gonna make me.
So what you're saying is you have no problem playing with a corpse.
Oh no, not at all.
Well, Qatar Airlines said on last Wednesday, our thoughts are with the family members of the passenger who sadly passed away on board on a recent Qatar Airlines flight from Melbourne to Australia, Australia, but said nothing about the people that had to sit next to the deceased woman.
I wonder if there's an update about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything since or heard anything.
Because I think that was like a week or two ago, right?
It was at least
it was
a week.
It was last week.
It was last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was right after we recorded. We recorded early last week. So yeah.
But again, this is part of our ongoing observation of things that can happen on an airplane. We had a guy peeing on an old woman. We have a dead corpse sitting next to you during the whole flight.
What else could possibly happen in the air? Well, a Southwest flight was forced to return to its gate just yesterday after a female passenger ran naked up and down the aisles for 25 minutes. This was right here in Houston at Hobby Airport on a Southwest flight just yesterday. A woman stripped naked in front of all of the stunned passengers. Now, this is pretty interesting. Apparently, she wanted to get off the plane, and she said she was willing to do anything to get off this plane. So I guess she thought stripping down naked was her only choice. Now, I do think this probably would not have gone on for 25 minutes if she were a dude. If she were a man, someone's covering that up. But this woman was allowed freely to just walk around for 25 minutes, man. Kind of interesting. It does, again, like remind me of that guy who was peeing for an entire minute on that elderly woman. It's like all minute.
I think it's also the way society responds to events that they aren't commonly involved in. But like, so for example, if you have 50 people on that plane and you have like 2 police officers who are off duty, they're more likely to do something because they've experienced this kind of crazy behavior all the time.
Right.
And it's like your first instinct is to get up like, yo, lady. But clearly there weren't any.
No, they just let her wander around. Yeah. I say pics or it didn't happen.
So I will let you know, I did a quick search for the couple that sat next to the dead body. There's contradicting reports on it.
Uh-oh.
So it's really weird. The statement from the Qatar Airlines basically says they were accommodated to other seats and crew members were sitting at all times with the deceased passenger.
That makes more sense.
But in the original report was they
cuddled up next to her for 4 hours. Yeah, that's the way they made it sound.
But,
well, you know, on this other flight where the lady was running around naked, you know inevitably there was a couple on there where the wife was nudging the husband saying, "What are you looking at? Would you stop looking at her? Keep your eyes to yourself. What are you looking at?"
Oh, I think it depends on the person you're with.
Like, I don't know. I'm just
like
checking out what's going on.
Yeah, it's funny because I would be looking and laughing the whole time.
I bet you would.
And I would have taken a picture of it, and I would have sent it to all my friends. I'm like, guess what's happening right in front of me right now? I do that all the time, though. I don't think it's appropriate, maybe. Because, like, my favorite one I took a picture of, I think I sent it to you, was the way that guy bowled. I want to say I sent you that.
You probably did.
It was just, like, the most bizarre.
There's some interesting techniques.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, because it's one of those things that catches you. I was like, is this guy really doing that right now? It's like, is he hitting the trash can over and over and over? Is that what's happening right now?
It says the Houston Police Department took away the woman for medical evaluations. However, the department did not say if they would bring up charges. Again, because it's a woman. If this were a man, he would have been arrested immediately, covered up, would have been aggravated, something or another.
Is indecent exposure include breasts?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and I don't know. Sounds pretty decent to me.
Well, no,
she was fully
more
nude.
like say you're topless in a school.
Yeah, continue.
Is that considered? Because I know, like, because there's always that funny story of a guy taking a leak by his house, but it's in front of a school, so he can get charged with indecent exposure because he's like taking a leak.
Sure, yeah.
So
it happens.
Do breasts?
I don't know. Technically, is being in an airplane considered public? I'm looking at a picture here. It is blurred out, so you can't see any of her naughty giblets. But you can see her there with her arms spread up, touching both sides of the overhead compartment and displaying all of her glory for everyone. Let me off this plane. Well, that's one way to do it, I suppose. But we will...
you know what sucks about that is they had to return.
Yeah, they had to turn around.
That sucks.
Yeah. They were still on the tarmac.
Oh, it's not that bad then.
No, yeah, they hadn't left yet. Oh, well. A man has been charged after he allegedly swallowed $769,000 worth of Tiffany & Co. earrings following a robbery at a Florida store. This is pretty interesting. Jason Gilder, or Jathan, that's an interesting. Jason Gilder, 32, stole 2 pairs of diamond earrings from the Tiffany & Co. store. Blah, 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 whatever. So apparently he walks into this store and he claims that he is purchasing jewelry for a basketball player, somebody from the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
So they take him back to the VIP room where they're showing him jewelry, high dollar stuff. Of course, everything in Tiffany is high dollar to begin with, but he gets shown to the back. He's looking at a few things. No, not this one. No, not this one. This looks nice. Grabs everything and then runs out. Has a tussle with the store security, and they lose him. About 6 hours later, they find him in his car. I guess they identified him through a series of security cameras. And when they questioned him, he immediately swallowed the evidence. Now, Dick, I have a question for you. What do you think happened to the evidence a few hours later?
Punctured him.
Well, it could have on the way out, but they had to wait to recover all of those stolen goods until he passed them.
I've seen, that's what I love about that show. There's like one of those that's on like National Geographic or whatever. They have the border shows. You ever seen those shows before?
Sure.
Like smuggling shows.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my favorite encounters is when they know this person swallowed a bunch of drugs. And the cameraman,
have to wait.
The cameraman tries to make it interesting, but you just have this lady on her side, and apparently this is a real thing. I did not know this.
Somebody brewing a pot of coffee in the corner, trying to get things moving.
In certain countries, they have time limits. They can hold you.
Oh, so if you can hold out without,
you can hold out. There was a brother sister scenario.
You get to run off with all the diamonds.
The brother held it in. The sister didn't.
Congratulations! Oh,
so the brother got off, and I'm sitting there going like. Imagine that conversation at the dinner table. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, remember, like you left me? I'm like, I didn't leave you. You're the one that took the dump.
Now, do you think Tiffany's resells this merchandise? And if they do they have to put a disclaimer on there, a Dookie disclaimer, right?
You have people selling cans of farts.
Yes, but this is not at Tiffany.
Yeah, but if I was Tiffany and go on the underground and be like, yo, you want some diamond
if
earrings that pass through somebody?
I think if you get a toothbrush and really get in there, you can clean up all the nooks and crannies like new. It's like the mattress we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
People don't care.
Can you sell a used mattress as new if you're a Mattress Mac or whoever, if someone used it for a week? Can you still sell it as new? Can you sell these earrings after this dude swallows it and dookies them out?
I bet you can.
If you wash them good enough.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Just don't tell anybody.
That's awesome.
Oh, did you hear about the Mammoth Project? And that is an attempt to turn mice into woolly mammoths. Have you heard about this? With curly whiskers and wavy light hair that grow 3 times longer than that of an ordinary lab mouse, the genetically modified rodent embodies several woolly mammoth traits, according to Colossal Biosciences, a private Dallas company behind its effort to resurrect the mammoth and other extinct
What do you
animals.
think would you combine?
I'm going to do none of it because I've seen Jurassic Park and none of it ends well.
Well, it's dinosaurs.
I mean, the woolly mammoth's kind of like a dinosaur. Now, when I read this, and immediately I thought, this is awesome.
It's not totally mutated.
Well, they're trying to get there. They're trying, the attempt here by Colossal Biosciences.
Are they trying to make a miniature woolly mammoth?
No, they're trying to resurrect a woolly mammoth. And so they're starting off small, so to speak, and genetically altering these mice. Now, when I saw this, I thought, oh yeah, we're going to see some gnarly looking mice with tusks. No, they're really cute. They just have long hair. And I'm like, well, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say at all whether or not they can withstand cold temperatures, which is kind of the point. But my point being, what are we doing here? Why are we trying to resurrect the woolly mammoth? Nothing good can come of this. It's extinct for a reason. So I bring back nothing, except for maybe my hairline and my waistline from when I was a teenager.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
I don't know if you want to show a picture of them. They're kind of
I'm
cute.
trying to find,
Oh, there's a video and there's a picture. If you scroll further down, there's a moving picture, otherwise known as a video, of the man in a lab coat and black rubber gloves holding these three cute little tiny woolly mice.
I like it.
But again, no tusks, kind of lame. Kind of lame.
I would get like a predator, though. I don't know what kind of predator I'd pick.
A predator?
Yeah, I always wanted to have a tiger. They're just too big, so maybe I have like a miniature
Saber-tooth?
tiger. Maybe I have a miniature tiger.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But wait, you're bringing something back. Was there such thing as a... Are you just talking about genetically altering anything?
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Because like cats are too like I want like a miniature version of a cheetah.
Okay.
So not like
a mini brontosaurus?
Yeah, something like
awesome.
that.
You could ride it bareback across the living room.
Yeah.
But it could also be tall enough to get plates off of like the top shelf.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what I do. A miniature Bronto.
And like I bet like the whole time they're like, kill me.
Yeah, this sucks, man.
Yeah.
But I do want it to be big enough to where I can do the Flintstone thing where I slide down its back and then its tail and kind of fly out.
Because isn't this technically like what they're trying to do is where they, in the sci-fi movies and shows where they try to splice certain genetic traits that have advantages over humankind. Where like, oh, this lizard can regrow its tail, so if we take that genetic makeup and put it in a human, we could regrow our limbs and whatever.
Like the lizard tail.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
I don't know. They've received like $435 million.
It sounds like you should call them and help out with your hair.
Right.
Right? Because they got the hair thing down.
It says Colossal has raised $435 million since it was founded in 2021 by entrepreneur Ben Lamb at the Harvard University geneticist. I don't know, man. It just seems like they're doing a lot of work, raising a lot of money to just create cute mice. That's just me.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, man, it's probably a pretty good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a club that seems very unnecessary.
And we're back with Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio. Here every Friday at 10 a.m., part of the morning program here at your community radio station. Worldwide on YouTube, look up Lone Star Community Radio or just look up Audience of One show and you'll find us on the socials and all that kind of stuff. We always encourage our listeners, our onesies, to send us fun articles like dead women on a plane that you have to sit next to, or anything wild like that. Audience of One show at gmail.com. This is the second segment. We'll have our quick hit at the end of. Hopefully I learned about some individual.
You probably will.
That's one of my favorite segments of the show. And so far I haven't been. There's a couple disappointments. Like I think that one Russian boxer guy was like the first original wrestler.
I don't even remember, man.
Because I remember actually I was thinking about that the other day when you were like, yeah, it's like he was like the first wrestler.
Oh, I think he invented the bench press. That was what I was really impressed by.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and some sort of like wrestling move of some sort.
Well, I think he was, okay. I could have sworn you said he was the first wrestler, and I go, well, don't you need someone else to wrestle?
Yeah, technically,
would they be the?
You're just shadow dancing.
Yeah, would they both be the first?
Okay, here's the thing: you're not wrestling. I am.
Yeah.
Just follow my lead. You have a good point there.
funny.
You can't be the first of anything in a team sport.
Yeah,
I was the first guy to ever play tennis.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's called wall ball, you fool.
Yeah, man.
You do have a good point. I'm glad that you are interested in my quick hits at the end of the show.
It really. I don't read the rundown clearly, and I do that only because I don't want to ruin that. It's not because I don't want to be up to date.
I mean, I can just hide this entire run sheet from you until 5 minutes before the show. It'd probably be the same thing, though.
Yeah, that's why I do it, and it's fun, it's more fun for me that way.
Awesome. Dick, if you had told me as a kid that I would be repeatedly asked if I was a robot or not, I would have thought something went amazing in my life, that I became like some half man, half robot that was commissioned by the military to do some covert operation to seek and destroy people. But no, it's just CAPTCHA, right? I'm so tired of these things asking me if I'm a robot. And it's funny to me, too, that if you're a bot, that you can log into my Amazon account. You can go on and search my recently purchased, maybe get a new George Foreman grill, go all the way to the checkout.
Do they still sell those?
But then it's a checkbox for a robot. It's like, got me. Dang it. Yes, they still sell George Foreman grills, and I know this because I purchased one last week.
Really? Why?
I got one for my son as a birthday gift.
Interesting.
Yes, they are the lean, green, fat grilling machine. That's right. I've had a couple of them in my life. It's a rite of passage in our family to get a George Foreman grill.
Why is this called submersible?
What? I think you're that's not a George Foreman grill. Are you already on spring forward time?
I'm just
daylight savings time.
Because I used to have one back in the day, and it was a piece of stuff. But
you
it
can
worked.
Grill so fast.
But it worked.
It cooks on both sides at the same time. It's like magic.
Yeah.
So, Dick, if you could pick, speaking of daylight savings, would you rather it be daylight savings or standard time?
Daylight savings time.
Yeah, because
that's the one that's
later. You get light later in the day, right?
Of course, there's more. Well, see, one thing too is when you wake up in the morning and it's still dark, you feel like you've achieved something.
Yeah.
You're like, my day's already starting off
Look at
right.
me.
I'm up before sunrise.
Yes.
And then if it's a little later in the day, it's more chances of that happening for me. My sleep schedule is all over the place, so it is quite remarkable that I haven't gone fully. I think that's probably why I'm going a little insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And time hadn't even changed yet. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I just wish that we wouldn't change it. I think if I had a preference, it would be daylight savings, the one we're going to go to here this weekend. But ultimately, I just don't want to switch back and forth. Just pick one. Because in the middle of the summer on daylight savings, it'll be light to almost 9 o'clock. Well, on standard time, that'd be like 8 o'clock. That's fine. That's good enough.
Well, didn't we make that joke on one of the shows?
Leave
where it's
it
like,
alone.
just observe whatever you want to observe and just tell people to deal with
whatever.
it. Like, hey,
you have your own personal clock.
Your TPS report was an hour late. Oh, no, it wasn't. You were not on my time.
You celebrate Christmas whenever you want.
Yeah, celebrate my birthday whenever I want. That's what I should do.
Well, speaking of time, this is an interesting story.
That'd actually be pretty funny. You're talking about the first part of the show. You have your 3-friend group.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And you tell all 3 groups a different birthday. So you can
That's right, because they don't talk with each other.
Yeah, so you
get
have
3 different
birthdays.
birthdays. Look at you, always working the angles.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. Well, a man in India has successfully won damages from the country's biggest movie theater in a consumer court after he complained that having to watch too many advertisements before a movie caused him to miss important work meetings.
Well, I mean,
you cannot make this stuff up.
Well,
yes, it was not the movie that caused him to miss his big meeting. It was those dang advertisements and trailers beforehand.
Yeah.
It. But he sues this major theater and apparently wins. The movie, which was scheduled to begin at 4:05 and end at 6:30 p.m., was delayed for nearly a half hour at the theater, what Abhikash called playing trailers, advertisements, and other fillers, according to the court ruling. I do have to admit, I like a couple of trailers. 2, 3 is just fine, but apparently this went on for a half hour.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, but I like it. The
best part about this is Abhishek demanded nearly $570 in compensatory damages. Hold on. And 64, quote, mental agony.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can sue anybody for distressing you for some reason.
I guess so.
And I wanted to tell you, I forgot what movie it was, but you know how online when you watch a trailer, like, you're not even intending to watch a trailer, there's like an ad before the whatever content you're trying to enjoy, like Audience of One on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. You mean that show Fridays at 10 a.m.?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes it's a movie trailer and they cut like a little mini trailer. It's like starting now.
No, I guess I'm not familiar.
You ever seen that? It's like a 10-second, it's like a 5-second deal. It's like the new Indiana Jones movie trailer
that sounds cool,
starts
though, man.
now. And then it's the trailer.
Whoa, no, I hadn't seen that.
I mean, I bet I can
Okay, just go. Just continue. What about it?
Well, they did that in the theater.
Okay.
But the whole purpose of that first 10 seconds is so that because they know people are going to skip the ad.
Oh, I know what you're saying. You're talking about like the countdown where it says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the movie begins. They did that for a trailer.
No,
Okay. I don't know what
you're
you're talking
terrible.
about, man.
Do you not watch anything on YouTube?
Yeah. I watched this show again. Audience of One Fridays, 10 a.m.
So when you click on YouTube and you watch your video, it has an ad, and if it's a trailer for a movie, they know you're going to skip it. So they do like an intro to the trailer because they know you're going to skip it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like a mini trailer of a mini trailer.
Okay, so they try to squeeze it in before the button that says skip
And
pops up.
and then it starts the actual 2-minute trailer if you don't hit skip.
That's pretty interesting.
But
so
they did
you're
the
paying
same
for the advertisement before your own advertisement.
But then they're doing it in the movie theater too. They don't change the trailer. So it has that 15-second trailer and then a 2-minute trailer.
They didn't cut a different version for the theater version?
No, and then they're doing it now on YouTube for the trailer itself. They leave that 15-second in, and I'm like, this is kind of wild. And
Seems really cheap, man. Just cut it up and produce a new version of it, a theater spot. Well, this delay caused Mr. Abhishek to miss other arrangements and appointments scheduled that day, resulting in losses which cannot be calculated in terms of money as a compensation. Well, it sounded like he had an exact amount, $570, in fact. This guy is unbelievable, man.
I mean,
hey, you got to go for it. The mental
not?
anguish. The mental anguish. In Bogota, Colombia, Colombian police say they apprehended a 40-year-old man attempting to smuggle several bags of cocaine concealed. Where, Dick? Where did he have it concealed?
in his bum.
No bum. Beneath a meticulously attached toupee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Police
What
said
is the toupee in the private area called again? Remember we discovered that? There's actually a name.
What was that?
It's like a frock.
Yeah, what was that?
Was
you
it
could
a
buy,
frock?
You can buy pubic toupees.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. God, this show
it-
is so stupid.
Was it?
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Well, police said the suspect was detained at the airport on Monday as he prepared to board a flight to Amsterdam. A scanner revealed the hidden cargo, 220 grams of cocaine packed in small bags strategically placed under what the authorities are calling a narco wig. All right, couple of things here. How did this guy think this was going to work? Guess what caught him? The most basic of all security measures, the dang scanner. It's not like they did some covert operation and busted him before he even got to the airport. He just walks through the thing and they're like, dude, is that coke under your hair?
That's tight.
It's so stupid. But apparently what's going on now is some of these drug dealers are using young and naive young people who don't really understand and are telling them that this can easily be done.
You could just tell them that you're an epileptic
What? How would that?
because you don't want to hit your head when you fall.
So you got some cushion, some cocaine
Yeah,
cushion?
I didn't know it was cocaine though. But I don't want people to know I'm wearing a helmet, so I wear this toupee.
Yeah, organized crime groups are
I wish there was a
exploiting
before
young
picture.
people, right?
I wish there was. Let me see if there is.
Falsely suggesting
Oh, there
that,
is. There's a
that they
video.
can easily bypass our security measures. Yep. Looks like a monkey going through. Oh, yeah, you can see him lifting his hair. But it does look
Yeah.
like a monkey going through another monkey's hair looking for like lice or bugs to eat. Oh, man, that is a meticulously placed.
Oh, you even cut his hair for it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
sad.
it sure did. Yeah, it looked like he shaved his head so that wig would fit on there nicely.
It'd be great if the officer just did a line right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, let me
Like,
check.
let me check. That's funny.
Well, the thing is, though, has this ever worked? I mean, if you're going to give it a name like Narco Wig, you would think that it was a common occurrence. But my God, if you're just going to get caught at the scanner, no one's going to do this enough to actually give this thing a name. Narco Wig. It's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It says cocaine production in Colombia has been rising since 2013. Ooh. Well, it gives them more drugs to smuggle.
Yeah, I heard Andrew's body's for sale.
My entire body?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
In my frock.
A frock covered by a merkin.
It's a merkin.
A merkin isn't like fake hair, though. A merkin is like what covers you up. It's in the shape of.
There's a word for the private area, toupee, right?
I'm sure. Maybe Merkin plays the double role there.
Is it not American?
I thought a Merkin was just.
I can't look it up on the
yeah.
yeah.
Quickly go to the City of Conroe's webpage and see if you can search here.
No, that's what it is.
It is a Merkin. Oh, then I'm mistaken.
It's referred to a pubic wig.
But I thought it just was a covering as well. Like it was not just hair. Maybe this is where that woolly mammoth conversation started.
Oh, don't look at the pictures. Don't look at the pictures, people. That is not a good idea.
The popo are outside.
Yeah.
I hope you paid your bills. If you ever see someone sporting a golden caterpillar on their lapel, Dick, have you ever seen anyone with a golden
why?
caterpillar?
What does that mean? You're in a cult or something?
Well, it lets you know that they're a member of a very prestigious yet quite baffling club. The wearer of the gleaming bug brooch didn't pay any dues to join this club either. The membership is involuntary. The sole requirement for joining the Caterpillar Club is to make an emergency escape from a failing aircraft, then plummet to Earth with the aid of a parachute. Should you survive, you automatically become a member.
Come on.
Wait.
So you're in an airplane and you somehow have a parachute, but you're not intending to jump out of the plane.
That's correct. That is the line of demarcation there, because people jump out of airplanes all the time with parachutes and don't get to wear this prestigious golden caterpillar.
This is going to be very ignorant, but when
hold on, brace for ignorance, everyone.
Yeah. When are you going to be on an airplane with enough parachutes?
So that's interesting. If you're on a commercial airliner, I don't believe everyone has a parachute. It's probably just, well, maybe none. I guess,
that's
right?
what I was
Zero.
wondering. So
I mean, you
like,
got that flotation device that you're sitting on, which might capture a little bit of air.
Cushion the fall
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit.
Let me hold on to this.
Yeah. No, I'm being serious. Like, so you're talking about private airplane people? Because I imagine if you had your own jet, there's probably a parachute
So
on.
I think this has something to do with military service, if I had to guess. It says the Caterpillar Club, which has no officers, no local chapters, and no formal organization, has been around since 1922.
So do you magically get a caterpillar pin?
Yeah, who
in
gives
the
it to
mail?
you? If there's no organization, hey, how do you get it? You have a good point there. Maybe you can get that on Amazon, right next to the George Foreman grill, as long as you are not a robot. It says on October 20th of that year, Harris, I guess this is a test pilot, Army test pilot, engaged in combat practice, blah, 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 blah. He lost control of his aircraft, slid out of the top of the fuselage, that's a hard word for me to say, and deployed his never-been-used-before parachute. He landed shaken but very much alive. So that's the example they give. But I guess this is a club. And I don't know. I suppose it's one of those things that you're obviously proud of. I guess you want to display with a golden caterpillar on your lapel. They have pictures of them. They're kind of cool. Looks a little old lady-like, I'm just going to say. Looks like something maybe an elderly woman might wear. But
do you put it on your merkin?
You can. Just proudly display it however you like, sir.
Yeah.
You're really caught up with this merkin thing, aren't you?
It's just amazing. I saw all these pictures. Now I'm like, what else is there? I'm interested with how you can decorate with Caterpillar Club. Yeah. That's kind of cool, Caterpillar Club.
No, it is pretty neat.
All right.
Because, I mean, I was thinking it was highly unnecessary. You could just jump out of a plane without it going down and still get the same feeling. But this apparently is, oh no, the plane's going down. I must evacuate. I don't know. It doesn't say how many people are in this club. And I guess, again, you joined it involuntarily.
Yeah.
But,
interesting.
Oh well. Yeah, and they have a picture here of a dude jumping out of an old biplane. Wow. Kind of cool, man. Kind of cool. California Attorney General on Monday announced the unsealing of an indictment charging 30 detention officers assigned to a Los Angeles area juvenile hall with child abuse, alleging they allowed and sometimes encouraged so-called gladiator fights amongst the youth. Woo. At the heart of the grand jury indictment is the allegation that officers stood by as children and teenagers at the Los Padrinos juvenile hall engaged in the fights, the Attorney General's office said in a statement.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I just have one thing to say, though. Are you not entertained?
No, I like the idea of a town being run by rogue cops and they catch the people at the underage drinkers at the party.
Like cut and shoot?
Yeah, imagine being in a small town and you're the
My
officers.
apologies to cut and shoot.
And you're like, oh, you broke up a party, and you're walking in, and they're like, all right, guys, you got them all handcuffed. Like, here's the deal. We can let you go, but y'all got to fight each other.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know if they even get to go. It is kind of sick.
I think that would be the funniest thing.
Well, we've talked about this before, where there were some people that were doing this with children, like kindergarten and like toddlers and
That's
stuff
what
at daycare.
I thought this was.
No, this was there were 69 fights in the second half of 2023 involving 143 children between the ages of 12 and 18, with some fights resulting in physical injury. That is kind of sick that these are kids kind of fighting against their will, but I do think it's slightly less egregious than having toddlers launch Legos at each other.
Yeah, the way the article reads is they were just overseeing it. They weren't facilitating it. They were these kids were fighting.
They weren't stopping it.
They weren't stopping it. I'm talking to that's how you get. I wish that would be kind of the justice I would implement. I'd just be like, all right, kind of like that scene in The Dark Knight, where he breaks the pool cue, and he's like, I only have one open slot.
Excuse me?
You ever seen The Dark Knight with the Joker?
I have. Yeah, it's a good movie.
So he's like, hey, I'm looking to hire somebody. He's talking to the two people. And he's like, but there's only one slot. And he breaks the pool cue and hands it to both of them.
And says, go for it, fight till the death, basically? Yeah.
That's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, you went 100 miles an hour? And okay, let me think of your punishment real quick.
I think the problem is they started betting on it. All right, I got that hefty kid over there with the braces. I got $5 on him. That's the problem. That's where the line was drawn, and it was crossed at that point. Yeah, I mean, if you're just kind of looking the other way, that's one thing. But once you start betting on Jimmy over there, not going to be good. It says the footage, which was circulated widely by the media and on social media, shows one youth in the detention center being attacked by a series of other youth who come at him one by one as detention officers stand by watching. Not good, man. Not good. These are adults. They're supposed to be in the care and supervision.
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Whatever, man. Since we had a slight hiccup in the second half, I don't have the time written down. Are we still good on
we can
time?
We can do the measles.
Wow, look at you. A Texas doctor warned people not to attend, quote, measles parties after the virus infected more than 100 West Texas residents over the past few weeks. All right, what are we doing here? We talked about pock parties a couple weeks ago, and whether or not, or maybe it was last week even.
This is real.
That's when I'm like, who the hell is going to have a measles party? Not quite the same disease. Measles can be quite deadly. I don't know if anyone's ever really died of chickenpox, although it was pretty painful, and some kids I knew got pretty sick from it. But why the hell would people have measles parties? Yeah, man, come on over. What's next? AIDS. Come on over and get some HIV, everybody. There's got to be a point at which we know this is not a good idea.
So these parties aren't even happening.
What do you mean? It just says do not attend them.
But they don't have any proof of them happening.
Look, this is on Newsweek.
If you look at what he says, it's like, just don't go to them. But we don't know where they are. We don't know what it is.
So what this likely is, it's what it is. Probably these things are circulating on social media, the dark web.
Yeah.
And probably not highly organized because, look, you never know when you're going to get the measles. So it's not like you can plan it out weeks in advance. It's got to be kind of spur of the moment. So it's probably one of these things where it doesn't get a lot of I don't think there's flyers up for the measles party, Dick, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's a highly contagious and at times deadly disease thought to have been completely eliminated in the U.S. by the year 2000, blah, blah, blah. But there has been a rise of skepticism around vaccinations since the COVID-19 pandemic. And so it's left a growing number of children vulnerable across the country to catching measles.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the what was the disease that made you bleed out of your eye? Ebola.
Yeah, told you I wanted.
We're going to the Ebola ball tonight, guys.
I need these diseases to be more visual.
Rolling the dice.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like
that is very visual.
It's kind of like the pill parties.
Huh?
Kind of like the pill parties. You ever been to a pill party?
I don't believe I have.
Where you had to bring pills, and everyone puts pills in.
You have no idea what you're going to get. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds like
that's
something,
a real thing.
Sounds like something the
I never did it.
The detention officers at Los Padrinos would have sanctioned as well. You never did it, huh?
No, I don't like downers.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a weird bag, especially if you got people who are bringing uppers and other people bringing downers. Some people bringing boner pills. It'd be this big mix.
The boner pill would be me.
It'd be a big mix.
I told
of
you
stuff
that.
there,
I think that practical joke would be hilarious. Is buying those mints and just like offer them to people. I wonder how much trouble legally you'd get in for that. Because you know people always say like, "Oh,
you're going to do time."
Like I'm pretending to do mint, like eat a mint. Like, oh, you got a mint? Can I borrow one?
Now, if they
Or
say, "Can
one?"
I have one?" That's different. But if you give them something without,
Because someone got me that way with
knowledge.
with a pot pen. I thought it was like a vape, and I was like, "Cool, let me try it." And they're like, "Yeah, it's just a vape," and I'm like, "Cool, just a vape." And then he's like, "Well," and then I was like, "That vape tastes like pot," and he's like, "Yeah, it has pot." I'm like, "I did not want to get high
right at this moment.
Yeah, this was terrible.
Maybe here in a little bit.
Oh, that was a terrible experience for me because we're at like a party, and I was waiting, and I had to drive. I was like, that wasn't the DD, but it was like a weird scenario. I'm like, how do I tell these people that I'm really high right now?
I think they'll know. I don't think you need to tell them anything.
But
Why is he leaning like at a 45-degree angle at the edge of his seat?
He's eating all the fruit. But no.
And he's wearing a merkin.
Yeah. Under his nose. What's happening? Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just picturing you leaning super high wearing a merkin, babbling about CAPTCHA or something. I don't know. All right, buddy, it's time for the quick hit here at the end of the show. Dick, do you know who Arthur Fisher is?
Of course.
Arthur Fisher, since you already know, I will remind you and our onesie audience who may not know, was a German inventor, entrepreneur, and skilled locksmith, and is considered one of the most successful inventors in the world, which is why you knew who he was.
Yeah.
Because he's the most successful inventor in the world. By the end of 2013, he had been granted a total of 1,136 patents, placing him in the same league as the prolific inventor Thomas Edison. One of Fisher's most famous creations is the plastic dowel. Do you know what a plastic dowel is? Mm-hmm. There's those little things that you stick in the wall, right? The Fisher dowel. That women love these things. It's like basically like a Molly bolt. Women love these things because now you can put a picture on the wall anywhere. But he had all kinds of crazy inventions, one of which invented the synchronous flash for cameras. The plastic construction kit for children called Fisher Technic, and the S-dowel made of polymer. I don't know what all this stuff is. Anyways, pretty amazing guy, invented all kinds of stuff. One of the things he's really noted for that I found interesting, his creation includes compostable and edible children's toys called Fisher Tip, just the tip. Small, colorful tips made from potato and cornstarch. The toys were produced and only made with natural dyes, so that when children are eating their toys, they don't perish.
I'm looking that up because I want to know what that is.
The Fisher Tip? Not a merkin. Well, Arthur Fisher, not only are you the quick hit, you, sir, are our audience of onesie of the week.
It sticks without glue, but it's safe to eat.
What are we talking about?
The Fisher Tips.
Oh, okay.
So you can make little models with it,
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
and then you can eat it. Is
He
that
also created dowels for fixing bones. Maybe you could do that for horses, because like once they break a leg, aren't they
They're
done?
glue, baby.
They're glue after that, which I've never
Yeah.
quite understood that. We can put a man on the moon, but we can't fix a horse's bones.
Well, I guess.
All right, man. It's all the time we've got for this week, buddy. Enjoyed it. It was kind of disjointed a bit, but
Yeah.
that's all right.
We'll be back next
It's
week.
not like we're professionals or anything.
Yeah, screw that. I don't ever want to get paid.
I do. Donate sponsor today, the audience of one show.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.